Well, hello YouTubers, how's it going? Well, I've been out kind of doing some yard sale shopping, and what do we have over here? Check this out. Picked this thing up for $20. They paid $549 for it about, oh gosh, 3 or 4 years ago, and from my understanding is you can still buy these. This is a Troy-bilt professional power washer, 7.75, and it is 2700 max psi, 2.3 gallons per minute. And the thing did run. It just quit on the people, and they said they didn't want to deal with it no more. It will, you can pull on it all day. It doesn't run no more. They did replace the pump on the bottom of it. It's about a $60 or $80 pump, because they left it out in the winter and it froze and busted. They did replace that, and they used it for a while. Then it just kind of quit on them, and pretty amazing find. I've never owned one of these. And check this out also. It comes with all the sprayer tips. This alone here is probably worth $25. There's the handle. I'm not sure how this handle is supposed to go. Maybe over here. Maybe like this or something. I don't know. Deal with it later. But there's the back of it. It's pretty dirty. There's the soap container, which is really nice. Thing is in, like I said, pretty dirty. It's got the little plastic wheel covers on it. And you can kind of just pick it up and roll it around like this, which is really nice. This is a Braggs & Stratton engine. And the oil seems pretty clean, although it needs a little oil, not much on the dipstick, which is good. It's still got gas in it, and I hauled this in my vehicle in the trunk, and I had it sideways, and I didn't think about the gas, and not one drop leaked out, which is pretty amazing. So this is a pretty good pretty good cap. It doesn't leak, but here's the hose. I don't know how long this hose is, but it's really long, which is really nice. And there's the handle, the trigger. I get lucky sometimes and find these things, and I'm sure you do too. Do you have any experience with these power washers? Comment in the section below and let me know what you think about these. And you even got the instructions here. So what I'm going to do, I want to clean it up first, because they said it wasn't firing no more. I believe that's what they said, but there's a couple of things I want to do right off the bat. I want to get it cleaned up, then check it for fire, see if we get anything at the spark plug, then check the compression. That's the main thing, because sometimes these engines like to have valve issues, springs that sometimes break on these valves. But that's what we're going to do, and it's got a kill switch right here, or you can turn it on and off. Just been set. It looks awful right now, but it's going to look pretty again. It's going to be a proud sprayer washer. This will come in handy for my house. I have a couple of houses I own, and I do need to do some cleaning. But if I can fix this thing for $20, this is probably one of the best deals I've ever gotten on anything at a yard sale. And by the way, I think, let's see, clean that up a little bit. And we got all the types of sprayers that do what. And it's a Troy-bilt. So, but like I said, it will turn. It'll turn over. It's not locked up or anything. I can pull the handle. Okay. And let's do one other quick thing here. Tip it back, and you can see the new sprayer pump they put on it, which was about, I think he said I thought he said $80. Wasn't sure, but it's all intact. I mean, look at this. Just got a little bit of rust right here, but I ain't worried about that. So we got a carburetor here for a float bowl. We got a float bowl, a carburetor. We'll have to clean all this up and check it out. But there it is. So what I'm going to do is set the camera up on time lapse. I want to clean this up a little bit and get it looking good and go from there. I don't like to work on anything when it's real dirty. That's just me. I like to clean everything up first, then go to town. So stay tuned. Let's see if we can get this thing running. Alright, it's always nice to have an air hose. And there it is. About half hour cleaning. How nice it looks already. Now this is just a quick wash down too. So that's a lot better. If you're willing to work a little bit, you can have nice stuff. So now the fun begins. We're going to take it inside in the garage, set the camera up on the spark plug wire here and see if we get any spark. Then if we do, then we'll go ahead and check the compression. This is a no prime, no choke, ready start for hassle-free starting, it says. Overhead valve technology, large muffler, our lowest exhaust emissions engine meets EPA 2012, and this thing was made in 2012, so it's about 6 years old. I think I got a pretty good deal. As a matter of fact, I did find the build date on the back, on the sticker. It was made the 7th month of 2010 here, so I'm not sure why the dates are different. Well, 2010 there, the 7th month, 2010. Then up here it says, let me look at this again, 2012, so I don't know. So, looks really nice. I'm really happy with it. And you can actually read all this now, which is nice. So, I got some touch-up paint. So, if the next thing we're going to do is take it in the garage and see if we have any spark and all that good stuff. Thanks for watching anyway, guys. Alright, so we're inside the garage here. We're going to get this spark plug out. We'll see if we got any spark. And this is a new spark plug, which is nice. And I think I can just kind of set this like this and ground it right there on the muffler. And let me just zoom in here a little bit and we'll see if we have any spark. Now this guy, and I apologize for the lighting there, it's just right there for you guys. Alright, so let's see. Actually, I'm going to shut the door. There we go. Now let's see if we have any spark. Get my hand here. Ready? Here we go. Oh yeah, we got lots of good spark. I think you can see that. Zoom in just a little bit more. Oh yeah. Alright, so that's that. So let's go ahead and check the compression. Alright, I'm just using a regular old compression gauge. I've got 4 or 5 of these, and these are always nice to have. So we'll get this in the spark plug hole here. I got a feeling that maybe this is not getting the compressions bad. Because the last engine I worked on had a valve problem. Whoops, that I had to fix. So we'll see. Alright, so set this up here a little bit better. See if we can see this or not. This may be a little hard to set up for you guys. Actually, it might work right there. I'll hold it at the same time. Alright, so let's see if we have any compression. Wow, I see absolutely no compression whatsoever. So you know what that means? Yep, we got either a valve problem, or worst case, maybe the head or the piston. Maybe it's got a hole in it. You know what? Let's do one other thing here. I didn't do. Let's take a screwdriver and just verify that piston is moving up and down, because that would really ruin my day if the piston wasn't moving at all. So I'm going to put a screwdriver in here and see if it's moving any at all. Oh yeah. So that's okay there. So what we got to do next is go ahead and pull this valve cover off and check the valves and the valve springs. Something's going on. Alright, let's go ahead and take this guy off here and see what the damage is. I've got a cloth to catch any oil that might come out. And I forget which engine I had before, and it had a broken spring. And the keeper came off, and after I put it back together, it ran like new. I'm not sure why they do that sometimes. Let's go ahead and get this off. And this is kind of a laid-back Saturday. I'm not in no big hurry. And if you're bored with my presentation, and you can just go and leave my channel, I don't care. But sometimes it's kind of nice to... I even like sitting back and watching other people working on things, just taking their time, in real time. You don't have to be perfect. Alright, so here comes our last bolt. Let's see what we got. Ta-da! Well, that looks good. And springs look okay. Let me zoom in for you guys just a little bit better here. That's okay. So let's see if these go up. See if they rock, go back and forth, up and down. Let's see what we got. Something's not right. Put my thumb over it so there's any compression now. Alright, well, there we got compression that time. Well, that was kind of interesting. So that's good to know. None of these valves are broken, the springs aren't broken, the rockers are moving back and forth, and the push rods are okay. Put my thumb over the... Well, now, all of a sudden, it seems like it's got compression. Let's do this again. Maybe something was just stuck. I may have to check the shear key on the top up here, make sure it's not out of time. Alright, let's see if we have any compression this way. Still no compression there. Let me get another gauge just to make sure this one's working. Alright, so we got a different gauge here. Let's verify that. See. Actually, we have just a little bit of compression there. It looks like about 2 pounds, so weird.
Just a little bit of compression, not much. You can hear that hiss when I hit that. So I may go ahead and pull this plastic cover off, pull the muffler off, and look in here and make sure there's not a leak around the head or something. But if I put my thumb over the piston hole, spark plug hole, I have a little suction, and but I feel a lot of it coming out of the exhaust. So I feel air coming out of the exhaust, and it's kind of blowing back. So we may just have a timing problem. But I'll go ahead and take this cover off, and we'll look at that and see what's going on. Alright, so I'm not going to get anywhere at guessing. So as you can see, I've got it tore apart here. You can see there's the top part, the wheel, the muffler, and some more parts. Pretty simple to take apart. And there's a look at the top of it. And right now, I am going to go ahead and pop these rocker arms out and look at these lifters and the, well, not lifters, the push rods, and see if I can find anything that's wrong. But I've got a feeling there's a problem down in the head there. I think maybe a seat come out or something. These are bad about seats dropping out of the heads, but we'll see here in a minute. Interesting to tear it apart, you know. So that looks good. The push rod there looks good, and that one looks fine. And they're the same length, so nothing there. So we'll go ahead and pop this head off. All I have to do is take this carburetor off, take a couple bolts off, put that off the side, and take these head bolts out. We'll pull it off here and see what we got. Look on top there, I don't see any leak around the head gasket. Usually you'd see a black spot or something, but I don't see anything, so we'll go ahead and finish tearing it apart here. Alright, we got all the bolts out of the head except for this one, and this is ready to come off. Had to take the carburetor here off, although it was really loose. I'm wondering if this seal here had something to do with it, maybe not sucking fuel in, because this was really loose. But since we're down to this far into the teardown, we might as well just pull the head off now and make sure we don't have a drop seat or something here that's maybe a blowing head gasket that I can't see from the outside. So if I get this out of here. Well, come on. You can come out. Come on, you can do this. Alright, so we got that one out. Ta-da! There's our head. And I see absolutely nothing wrong with it. You can see that or not. The seats are okay. I'm going to push that valve in here, see? That one works. And that one works. So somewhat of a mystery here, because on the top here I checked the shear pin and it's okay. So it is strange. So what I'm going to do is clean it all up, put it back together here, and start looking on this side of the carburetor, because I'm thinking maybe something over here was causing it not to run. It may have come loose, but the piston looks okay. Turn this a little bit here, maybe. Let me get my pinchers. And we'll give you a look at the piston real quick there. I think you can see it. The walls look great. No scratch marks. I don't see anything wrong. Interesting. But anyway, All we can do is just put it back together and make sure everything's back together right. And it's got to run. I don't see anything wrong with it, so let's put it back together. Alright, got the last bolt torqued in the head there, and go ahead and get the carburetor all back together. Tighten everything up real good. And we'll put our shield back on over here, some heat sinks, pieces, not heat sink, heat shields, and the muffler and stuff, and put the top back on here, and we'll see if we can get it to run. Alright, we'll take this bowl out while I am here and check it out, and there's a little gas in it, and the gasket seems okay, and you can see there's a little bit of debris down in there. I don't know if you can see that. A little bit of dirt. So we'll clean that out. And we'll check the float. And this one is a plastic float. I don't know if you can see that. And I don't see any gasoline in it. So if there was gasoline in it, it would sink right to the bottom. And you would have a lot of gas going into the carburetor. So that's okay. So we'll go ahead and clean this up and put that back together real quick. It's always good to check that. Alright, we're slowly getting everything back together. I'm doing a little painting and cleaning as I go. And we've got the muffler back on. And all the linkage for the carburetor. So really all I have to do is go ahead and bolt the cover back on for the front of the lifters and push rods, and put the wheel back on the top and the pull string, and we can go ahead and put some gas in it and try to start it. See, we've got some interesting little linkages here. This is a governor. We've got this little spring that goes up here. Then we've got this other spring that goes over here, and this is actually a, if I turn the camera around a little bit, this is actually a adjustment. When this muffler heats up, it pulls that way, and I guess brings the idle down. Interesting. It's like a little thermostat. Alright, I got it all back together, and actually painted a little bit, but I got it cleaned up pretty nice, and it still has a problem. I'm really thinking there's a timing issue here. I'm beginning to think that plastic gear in the bottom of the crankcase is probably stripped or gotten broken, because since I've got the air cleaner off, it's actually blowing back through the air cleaner. So that's not good. That's a timing issue. That happens on automobiles a lot, and I'll show you what I mean. Right there. So I really think I have a timing issue. So it looks like tomorrow I'll be taking this engine off of the frame. It's real easy to do. The motor is held on with the pump with 3 long bolts and nuts. Real easy to take off. So I'll probably just take this motor off the frame tomorrow, flip it upside down. But I bet you $100 that's what's wrong with this thing, because everything else is fine. So tomorrow's a new day. We'll come out here tomorrow and tinker with it. Alright, a new day after being woke up this morning by a nasty storm. Man, I'd never seen so much lightning, but it's summer for you. Alright, so we're back in here today. I pulled the motor off of this. Real easy to do. Now I can get in there and clean this up and use some touch-up paint. I know, I've said that 100 times. Here's the motor. I got it upside down, and what I'm going to do is go ahead and pull the oil sump off, or the bottom of the engine, held on by 2, 4, 6, 7 little 10mm bolts. I got a sneaky suspicion there's a cam gear in there that's off. So I've taken spark plug out down here on the bottom, so the compression will be a little bit better when I turn this crank up here when I'm playing with it. So let's go ahead and tear it apart. Real interesting. It's kind of fun to do, actually. I wanted to see what it looks like inside here, but I think something's bad in here. Alright, so we got one started. These are all
same length. I typically don't work on small engines. I'm more of an auto mechanic, aircraft, piston kind of a guy. But when I see good deals like this, we all like to, you know, do what we can to save things like this. So basically, I'm no small engine repair guy, but I did stay at a Motel 6. Ha ha ha. Somebody might find that funny. Alright, so there's our last bolt. Now the only downside by taking this off, I'm going to have to get a gasket. But that's okay, that's what eBay's for. So here we go. The seal wasn't leaking. They did put a new pump on it, and I checked the pump out and it's pristine. It's a new pump. So tap it out slowly. Alright, let's do this side. These can be a little difficult to get out. You just got to take your time at it. It's moving slowly. There we go. These little pins in there, here, guide pins, they like to stick a little bit. So now we can go ahead and get it apart here. That side. And on this side. You want to take it off evenly across the board. There we go. Alright, I think we got it. And off we come. You have a little patience. Take your time at it. You don't want to bust the case. Alright, so let's look in here and see what we got. And oh yeah, that's what it is. See this gear right here? It's moving. You zoom in just a little bit for you guys. So we found the issue with the motor. See this gear on the crank? I can turn it, it's busted. A plastic gear is busted here. See this? Why would you make this gear out of plastic? Unreal. Alright, so here's the governor. Let's take this out. Governors are cool. They spin and this little guy here pushes out, controls your idle. But there's our issue. Let's go ahead and, wow, I can turn this whole thing without, I'll just pull the gear out with it. So that's what's wrong with it. This whole gear is completely stripped right here. I knew it. I knew there was something wrong down here. Well, eventually I figured it out, but you can see the crankcase is in good shape. I'm glad that's plastic because could you imagine all that metal shrapnel in there? So maybe that is a good thing. I don't know. But at least they made it easy to get this pan off. To get in here and change this plastic gear around in case it strips. Because they figured it would probably be a problem since it's plastic. So I'll give them a B+ for that. That was pretty cool. Because if we had a metal gasket in, a metal gear in here, if this would have happened, it would have stripped this out completely. So I don't know. That's probably the reasoning behind that. Alright, so now all I gotta do is find me a little gear for this. It's probably sheared off the pin down here. So let me go ahead and see if I can wiggle this out. I'm going to go ahead and pull these rockers off and push rods out so I can get that cam gear out. It'll be a lot easier. This is your intake and exhaust. Push rods there. But when I said earlier about giving them a B+,
I guess, for developing and making it easy to take that case off to get in there and repair that. So off we come again on a Sunday afternoon. Alright, now we can go over here and probably pull this gear right out. I think my camera's set up for you guys. So off you come, little gear. Out you come. Yep. So this is okay. The issue is right here. Oh yeah. It completely done. Yeah, the keeper, it took the keeper out. I wonder where the keeper is. Well, it's probably a plastic keeper there. Let me just spin this around real quick. Wow. Anyway, we know what the issue is. Yeah, the keeper's actually right here. It goes down on the top of the crank. If you can see right here, there's a place cut in the crank. There should be a place with this, and it's what keeps this whole thing spinning. I can see why it broke. I mean, it wouldn't take much to break that right there. So guess who's gonna be buying a plastic gear on eBay? Yeah. Yep, so what's happened is there's a plastic keeper there. It's gotten stripped completely out of the crankshaft. And looks like the cam gear took a little damage too. I don't know if you can see that right there. It's not that great, but I can probably get both of these on eBay probably pretty cheap. And there's actually a little shim that goes on top of that. So I'm gonna go hunt these up. It's gonna be a couple days probably, and put it back together, and we shouldn't have too much issue putting this back together, which would be nice. So I'll give you guys an update a little bit later. So if you ever have popping through the carburetor and back through the exhaust, more than likely it's the cam gear down here's gotten stripped or it's broken. So having said that, I'll see you guys here in a few days after I get a new cam gear, and we'll put it back together and get a gasket, and hopefully it'll run. Hey everyone, I am back after about 4 days of ordering parts, and we got cam gear, we got a couple crank gears, but I wanted to show you something right off the bat. Here is my old one, and I realized eventually that this mark right here on this lobe is where the crank on this engine hit this when this went out of time. And what I mean is, check this out. This gear, big gear, is loose. Look how loose this is. Get through this whole thing out of time, and I could not get this to go down in there when I was kind of playing around with it. And I eventually figured it out. This is way out of time. Here's the new one, and you can probably even see here. If I hold this a certain way, there's a mark, and there's the other mark. See how far off those cam gears are. So that was a issue there. And also when you're ordering these cams on some of these engines, this guy here, this is an early exhaust valve lift, I believe. Sometimes it's here, sometimes it's down here, sometimes these don't even have it, so just be careful. But I picked this up on eBay for $20 free shipping. Some of these go for 40 and 60. I got lucky and got this one right off the bat fast. And this one's good because I've already tested it. I wanted to make sure. I can't turn that. So that one's a good one. So really all we have to do is go ahead and start putting everything back together. It's got the short keeper right there, and this one's got a fat leg keeper, a smaller keeper. This is the one you want. These is two different ones. I've ordered both of these because I wasn't sure which one I needed because I had two different part numbers. There's a timing marker right there on that. So we'll go ahead and stick this on here like this. And remember the old shim off the old plastic gear that was on top like this. Make sure you put this on here like this. This is 1/1000th of an inch thick. I measured it. And now we'll go ahead and get our cam gear back in there. And we'll go ahead and find the timing mark right there. And we got one on the crank. We'll pull this shim off to verify that I'm on the money. And I am on the money. I think you can see that if I zoom in just a little bit more right there. There's your timing marks. This is a 7.75 engine. And there's probably a little bit of difference in all that. And now we'll just put this shim back on there. And we're ready to go ahead and put this baby back together. So it looks like we got everything we need here. And you know what's next. Do not forget this guy. Make sure you get your governor back on there, because you don't want to have to take the case apart. And now, put the case back on it, bolt it on the frame, put oil in it, and we'll see if this bad boy is going to run. And if so, I think I've got myself a pretty good deal here. I'm not even going to have $100 into it, less than that. These things still sell for over $500, so let's put her back together and see what we got here. Alright everyone, there's a nice look at it after about 2 hours last night. I got it all back together, and I tell you what, this thing looks completely different from when I picked it up. Look at that, how nice it is. Shines. I got the wheels cleaned up, little plastic hubcaps painted. Back of it's all cleaned up. Give you a nice walk around real quick. And I think this is well worth my time and putting money into it. And here's a nice look from the front. You can see everything looks really good on it. I even got all my little attachments there cleaned up. So what we're going to do now is go ahead and put some gasoline in it. Check the oil, make sure we get enough oil in it. And we're going to see if this thing will run. So I don't know if it's going to run on the first pull or not. Its bragging rights is, it says right there on the sticker, hassle-free starting. Apparently it'll start up on the first or second pull. So let's find out. So wish me luck. I'm going to say it's not going to start. I'm going to say it's going to take 3 or 4 pulls, but who knows? So after we do that, then all we have to do is go ahead and hook up that sprayer down there and see if it works. So let's set the camera up here and wish me luck. Okay, so here we go. I'll check the oil real quick. I think I got plenty of oil, and yep, right where we should be. We got gas. Plenty of gas, so wish me luck. Let's see if this thing's going to start. So we'll turn it on, switch over here, and let's give her a yank and see what happens. I should probably turn the switch on in the on position. Alright, now let's try it. Wow, I don't believe it. It runs. How about that? I can't believe I fixed that thing. It runs. I didn't think it would run. Wow. Listen how good it sounds. Purrs just like a kitten, and it's not very loud actually. It does have a sticker on it that says a quiet design. Large muffler to reduce noise. Yes. That is awesome. Alright, so we'll kill the switch. I cannot believe that thing runs. Alright, so I think what I'll do now is go ahead and hook the sprayer up to the bottom and see if I can get it working. But hey, the hard part's done. I am so happy. What do you all think? Was it worth my time fixing this thing and saving it from a yard sale? Hey, let me know in the comments below. Okay, my YouTube friends, we now have a working power washer. So check this out. I'm going to start it up and check out the sprayer. It works perfect. Check this out. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. What a good deal this was.
Enough playing around. Alright guys, there it is. I can't believe I fixed it. One thing that had me puzzled for a while is the black nozzle. It says for general. When I had that on there, it didn't really want to spray. I couldn't figure out what was wrong. Then I switched it over to one of these higher pressure ones, and voila, it has something to do with the back pressure in the pump. Somehow it knows with the back pressure that you're using with those high powered sprayers. So I am really happy. So thanks for watching guys. Until my next video, I'll see you guys later, and let me know what you think of my brand new toy. This thing cost $549 when it was new. Yeah, about 3 or 4 years ago, I guess. They're still over $500, so I lucked out pretty good. So until my next video guys, I will see you then.